Welcome again to Joe Stunner Boxing. Ever since we had the result of the 5 versus 5, in which Queensberry basically whitewashed Matchroom 5-0 or 10-0 in points, if you prefer, we've heard a lot of talk about how this is indicative of Eddie Hearn is finished and Matchroom are on the down and all it. Look, let's not get carried away with this, okay? Without a shadow of a doubt, the whitewash for Queensberry was an immense achievement and definitely propels Queensberry into the foreground, if it wasn't already in the foreground, not just on a national level, a UK level, but also internationally. But why is it such an achievement? It's such an achievement because internationally, Eddie Hearn has made huge strides into those other markets. So we're talking European continent, Mexico, the United States. Definitely in the UK, I think Matchroom have, over the last couple of years, declined, which has allowed Queensberry to gain traction, especially, with the backing of BT, which is a very big platform, or TNT Sports, as it's now called. But I don't think we should simply presume that Queensberry are now way up here and Matchroom are in decline and going down further. No, we've got to look at the bigger picture. I think when Hearn and Matchroom went to DAZN, it was really because they wanted to become a global, I hate the word, but a global brand, okay? They had conquered the UK, completely dominated it for pretty much a decade with Sky, but Eddie Hearn always looking for a bigger mountain to climb, beefing up Matchroom, turning Matchroom into an international outfit and not just a dominant UK outfit. He saw DAZN as being the way forward, streaming services and so on. But as a result, something had to give. And that something that had to give was the control on the UK market. And the UK market is a big market, don't get me wrong. But Eddie wanted to rule the world, basically. And that, of course, gave Frank Warren and Queensberry a chance to sign up British fighters, build up the stable. I don't think it was a coincidence that if you look at the Matchroom versus Queensberry picks, the 5 versus 5 picks, all but one on Frank's side were British fighters. On Eddie's side, we had, Craig Richards. Was there anyone else who was? No, there's no one else. I mean, that was, what are we talking? Craig Richards, Filip Hrgović, who's Croatian, Deontay Wilder, who's an American, Amo Williams is American, Ray Ford is American. So that's an interesting little telling point. 3 Americans, a Croatian and an Englishman, compared to four British, 4 Brits, and a Chinaman. Sounds like a joke, beginning of a joke, doesn't it? 4 Brits and a Chinaman walk into a boxing match. Yeah. So, but I think that really tells the story about where these two outfits are. This is not an anti-Queensberry or pro-Matchroom or vice versa video. I just want people to think in terms of a longer, a bigger, think broader. Don't just think in terms of the UK. Don't just think in terms of who rules the roost at home, because it depends what you're after. Hearn is after world domination. He's had UK domination. Now he wants the world. Hence the reason that he signed up lots of American fighters. He's done this, years ago. I mean, both Amo and Ray Ford were with Eddie from the start, I think, of their professional careers, or very near the start of their professional careers. The fact that he took a chance on Deontay Wilder, again, thinking beyond the UK, the UK market. Frank picking Zhilei Zhang. Let's not forget that Zhilei Zhang was brought in essentially to lose to Joe Joyce twice, but didn't. And of course, even though he lost to Parker, it was a very close fight. He floored Parker a couple of times. So Frank is thinking, okay, we'll have him on our roster, but initially, it's not as if Frank was with Zhilei Zhang from the start. I mean, obviously Eddie wasn't with Deontay from the start, so that was a bit of a wild card fight when you think about it. But Frank initially brought in Zhilei Zhang to lose to Joe Joyce. So had Joe Joyce won one of those fights, I don't think there'd have been a rematch had he won the first fight. You could have had Joe Joyce in that heavyweight role, and that would have been 5. That would have been 5 out of 5, 5 Brits out of 5. So there's no doubt that Frank and Queensberry are the current kings of the UK, even though Tyson Fury lost. It was a colossal event. They're going to have a rematch, which will be another gigantic event. Let's not forget that Frank and Queensberry are the ones that kind of got their foot in the door with the Saudis. They were the ones that propelled the whole idea of, Turki Al-Sheikh getting involved, the Riyadh season. They were the ones that went over there. Fury and Ngannou was a big deal. And Frank said, it's going to be a game changer. And a lot of people, including myself, initially laughed. I think because we were thinking of just that one fight. But I think what Warren's comment, it's a game changer, has actually proven quite prophetic, because what we now see is Turki Al-Sheikh and the whole Saudi influence going over to America. It's coming to Wembley in England. So Frank, from that point of view, has gained inroads internationally, because when he says that Saudi is now the capital of boxing, or Riyadh is the capital of boxing, I don't think that's too much of a stretch. And this could indicate that he's looking for Queensberry to, if they haven't already, to become more of an international force. And certainly the 5 versus 5, especially, the 3 Americans on Eddie's roster all losing, 2 of them by stoppage, by knockout. It is a little bit, he's chipping away at Eddie, but I think internationally, Matchroom are still ahead of the game. More or less, they've got more fingers in more pies, more fights going on in more continents. That, of course, can change. And I also find it really quite strange when people say, well, the victory for Queensberry, the whitewash over Matchroom, proves that Matchroom are heavily in decline. No. These are peaks and troughs. If you're a boxing promoter, pretty much if you like a fighter, there are peaks and troughs. And sometimes you have a little dip, and sometimes you go up. Now, don't forget, 12, 15 years ago, Frank Warren, when he was with Box Nation, when Box Nation was his pet project, there really wasn't a great deal going on for Frank. But Frank, a lot of people wrote Frank off. I didn't. I thought, I did begin to wonder, has he, because of the age he is, has he been and gone? But no. Frank Warren, decades he's been in the game, and he knows business and he knows how to come back. So does Eddie Hearn. And this may be a dip for Matchroom, a dip for Eddie. It's a bad result, the whole 5 versus 5. But I don't think we'll be starting any GoFundMe pages for Eddie Hearn. I think he's got plenty more highs, peaks to come, as have Queensberry. And I think if Queensberry and Matchroom carry on working together, and as they probably will, I think we'll see both stables becoming bigger, both organisations, both promotional outfits becoming more successful. And it'll be interesting to see how long this little marriage lasts. But don't write off anyone. Don't write off Warren. If Queensberry take a dip, let's say Fury loses the rematch, that will be the crown jewel of Fury in a negative place. For Queensberry, just as when Anthony Joshua got beaten, Matchroom took a dip. You can't look at things just as a current situation. You have to look beyond that. And in order to surmise what the future could bring, it often pays to look back, like with Frank, when he was with Box Nation, when they were losing money hand over fist, when investors were dropping out. Nevertheless, you thought, this is Frank Warren. He's been bankrupted before. The guy's been shot. If anyone can come back from this, Frank can. But don't write off Eddie either. Don't write off Matchroom. Both of these organisations, especially as they're working very closely with Riyadh and with Turki Al-Sheikh, they have plenty more to offer. And I don't believe that either of them is going to go, shall we say, bosoms northwards anytime soon. So let me know your thoughts. What do you think? Do you think too much is being read into the whole defeat by Matchroom to Queensberry, or what do you think? Who do you think is going to come out on top? Or maybe they'll both come out on top. Maybe, like I say, it'll be peaks and troughs, peaks and troughs. That's normally the way it goes. So let me know what you think. Give your opinions below and I'll have a read. And as always, thank you for your time. Please subscribe to the channel if you do, because you could help us out that way. And hit the like button as well. That's a big deal for us as well. Yeah, I hope you're enjoying your weekend. I'll get you later. Bye for now.